Welcome back to Spellbound Stories. I am Black, your narrator, and tonight we unveil the mystique of Part 4 in our series Gods and Pharaohs, exploring Egyptian mythology. Are the gods mere myths, or do they walk among us, hidden in plain sight? What arcane wisdom did the pharaohs possess that could change the course of history? Every Monday and Thursday, we peel back another layer of this ancient enigma. Subscribe and join us on this captivating journey through time and myth. The process of the weighing of the heart involved the deceased's heart being weighed against the feather of Maat, which symbolized truth and righteousness. The heart was believed to be the seat of a person's emotions, thoughts, and intentions, and it was considered the essence of their being. If the heart was found to be lighter than the feather, it meant that the deceased had led a virtuous life and had upheld the principles of Ma'at. This would grant them passage into the afterlife. However, if the heart was found to be heavier than the feather, it indicated that the deceased had committed sins and transgressions during their lifetime. This would result in their heart being devoured by Ammit, a fearsome creature with the head of a crocodile, the body of a lion, and the hindquarters of a hippopotamus. Ammit was known as the devourer of the dead and was believed to consume the hearts of the wicked, ensuring their eternal destruction. The weighing of the heart was not a simple process of judgment, but also a test of the deceased's character and moral worth. It was believed that the gods and goddesses closely observed the weighing, taking into account the individual's actions, intentions, and overall conduct during their lifetime. The judgment was not solely based on one's deeds, but also on the purity of their heart and their adherence to the principles of Ma'at. To prepare for the weighing of the heart, the ancient Egyptians placed great emphasis on leading a righteous life. They believed that by following the principles of Ma'at, such as truth, justice, and harmony, they would ensure a favorable outcome in the afterlife. The deceased would often be buried with a copy of the Book of the Dead, a collection of spells and rituals that provided guidance and protection in the journey to the afterlife. The weighing of the heart was not only a moment of judgment, but also an opportunity for the deceased to defend themselves. In some depictions, the deceased would stand before a panel of 42 divine judges, known as the assessors of Ma'at, who would listen to their pleas and justifications. The deceased would recite a negative confession, a declaration of innocence in which they would deny having committed specific sins or transgressions. The outcome of the weighing of the heart had profound implications for the deceased's afterlife. If they were deemed worthy, they would be granted access to the field of reeds, a paradise-like realm where they could enjoy eternal bliss and happiness. In contrast, if they were found unworthy, they would face eternal punishment and annihilation. The weighing of the heart was a powerful symbol of the ancient Egyptians' belief in the importance of leading a virtuous life. It emphasized the significance of moral conduct and the pursuit of truth and justice. The judgment in the Hall of Ma'at served as a reminder to the living to uphold the principles of Ma'at and strive for righteousness in their daily lives. Today, the weighing of the heart continues to captivate the imagination and intrigue scholars and enthusiasts of ancient Egyptian mythology. It represents a unique aspect of Egyptian belief in the afterlife and provides insight into their complex understanding of morality and judgment. The concept of the weighing of the heart serves as a reminder of the enduring legacy of Egyptian mythology and its profound impact on human culture and spirituality. Mummification and burial rituals. Mummification and burial rituals were an integral part of ancient Egyptian culture and played a significant role in their beliefs about the afterlife. The Egyptians believed in the preservation of the body after death to ensure the soul's journey into the afterlife. Mummification was a complex and elaborate process that involved various rituals and ceremonies. Mummification was considered crucial in Egyptian society, as it was believed to be necessary for the deceased to have a physical body in the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that the soul, or Ka, needed a preserved body to recognize and inhabit in the afterlife. Without mummification, the soul would be left without a vessel and unable to continue its journey. The process of mummification was a lengthy and intricate one, involving several steps and rituals. It required the expertise of embalmers who were highly skilled in the art of preserving the body. The process of mummification typically began with the removal of the internal organs. The embalmers would make an incision in the left side of the body and carefully remove the organs, except for the heart. The heart was believed to be the seat of intelligence and emotion and was left intact. Once the organs were removed, they were individually preserved and stored in canopic jars. These jars were often decorated with the heads of the 4 sons of Horus, who were the protectors of the organs. The liver was associated with Imseti, the lungs with Hapi, the stomach with Duamutef, and the intestines with Kebesenuef. After the organs were removed, the body was thoroughly cleansed and dried. It was then packed with natron, a type of salt, to remove any remaining moisture. The body was left to dry for approximately 40 days. Once the drying process was complete, the body was carefully wrapped in linen bandages. These bandages were often infused with resin to provide additional protection and to help maintain the body's shape. Amulets and charms were also placed within the wrappings to provide further protection in the afterlife. Throughout the mummification process, various rituals and ceremonies were performed to ensure the deceased's successful journey into the afterlife. These rituals were conducted by priests and were believed to have a profound impact on the deceased's fate. One of the most important rituals was the opening of the mouth ceremony. This ceremony involved the priest touching the mummy's mouth with a special instrument, symbolically restoring the deceased's ability to eat, drink, and speak in the afterlife. It was believed that without this ceremony, the deceased would be unable to sustain themselves in the afterlife. Another significant ritual was the opening of the way. This ceremony involved the priest reciting spells and prayers to guide the deceased through the various obstacles they would encounter on their journey to the afterlife. It was believed that these rituals would ensure a safe passage for the soul. Once the mummification process was complete, the body was ready for burial. The Egyptians believed that the body needed to be placed in a tomb, along with various items and offerings, to provide for the deceased in the afterlife. The tombs were often elaborate structures such as pyramids or rock-cut tombs designed to protect the body and its belongings. The deceased's personal belongings, including jewelry, furniture, and food, were placed within the tomb to provide comfort and sustenance in the afterlife. The burial process was accompanied by rituals and ceremonies to ensure the deceased's safe passage into the afterlife. These rituals included prayers, offerings, and the recitation of spells to protect the deceased from evil spirits and ensure their successful journey. Funerary texts, such as the Book of the Dead, played a crucial role in Egyptian burial rituals. These texts contained spells, prayers, and instructions to guide the deceased through the afterlife. They were often written on papyrus scrolls and placed within the tomb alongside the mummy. The Book of the Dead was believed to provide the deceased with the knowledge and power needed to navigate the challenges of the afterlife. It contained spells for protection, instructions for the judgment of the soul, and guidance for the deceased's interactions with various gods and goddesses. Mummification and burial rituals were of utmost importance in ancient Egyptian society. They were seen as essential for the deceased's successful journey into the afterlife. The complex process of mummification, accompanied by various rituals and ceremonies, ensured the preservation of the body and the soul's recognition of its vessel. The burial process, including the construction of elaborate tombs and the inclusion of funerary texts, provided for the deceased's needs in the afterlife. These practices reflect the deep-rooted beliefs and reverence the ancient Egyptians had for the continuity of life beyond death. The Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead, also known as the Book of Coming Forth by Day, is one of the most famous and important texts in ancient Egyptian mythology. It is a collection of spells, prayers, and rituals that were believed to guide the deceased through the afterlife and ensure their successful journey to the realm of the gods. The Book of the Dead played a crucial role in Egyptian funerary practices and was considered essential for the deceased to achieve eternal life. The origins of the Book of the Dead can be traced back to the Old Kingdom period of ancient Egypt, around 2686 to 2181 BCE. Initially, it was only available to the pharaohs and members of the royal family. However, as time went on, it became more accessible to the general population, and eventually, almost anyone could have a copy of the book buried with them. The primary purpose of the Book of the Dead was to provide the deceased with the knowledge and guidance necessary to navigate the complex and perilous journey through the afterlife. It was believed that after death, the soul would undergo a series of trials and judgments before reaching the Hall of Ma'at, where their heart would be weighed against the feather of truth. The spells and rituals in the book were intended to help the deceased pass these tests and prove their worthiness to enter the realm of the gods. The Book of the Dead is not a single book, but rather a collection of individual spells and texts. These texts were written on papyrus scrolls or inscribed on the walls of tombs. The content and arrangement of the spells varied depending on the time period and the individual's social status. However, there were certain common themes and elements found in most versions of the book. The spells in the Book of the Dead covered a wide range of topics, including protection against evil spirits, guidance through the underworld, and instructions for performing rituals and offerings. Some spells were intended to help the deceased remember their past life and identity, while others were meant to ensure their physical and spiritual well-being in the afterlife. The structure of the Book of the Dead typically followed a consistent pattern. It would begin with a series of spells and rituals to protect the deceased and ensure their safe passage into the afterlife. This would be followed by chapters that provided instructions for navigating the underworld and avoiding various dangers and obstacles. The book would then conclude with spells and prayers for the deceased to attain eternal life and join the gods in the afterlife. One of the distinctive features of the Book of the Dead is its rich and detailed illustrations. These illustrations depicted scenes from the afterlife and various mythological beings and deities. The purpose of these illustrations was not only to provide visual aids, but also to enhance the power and effectiveness of the spells. The symbols used in the Book of the Dead were also significant. Certain hieroglyphs and images were believed to possess magical properties and were included in the spells to invoke their protective or transformative powers. For example, the image of the scarab beetle was often used to represent the concept of rebirth and resurrection. The Book of the Dead played a crucial role in Egyptian funerary practices and was considered essential for a successful journey to the afterlife. It provided the deceased with the necessary knowledge and guidance to navigate the complex and perilous realm of the gods. The spells and rituals in the book were believed to protect the deceased from evil spirits, ensure their safe passage through the underworld, and secure their place among the gods. The influence of the Book of the Dead extended beyond ancient Egypt. It has fascinated scholars, archaeologists, and enthusiasts for centuries, providing valuable insights into the religious beliefs and practices of the ancient Egyptians. The book's themes of death, judgment, and the afterlife have also had a significant impact on literature, art, and popular culture. In conclusion, the Book of the Dead is a remarkable testament to the ancient Egyptian belief in the afterlife and the importance they placed on preparing for the journey beyond death. Its spells, prayers, and rituals provided the deceased with the knowledge and guidance necessary to navigate the complex and perilous realm of the gods. The book's illustrations and symbols added depth and power to the spells, while its legacy continues to captivate and inspire people to this day. The story of Osiris and Set. The story of Osiris and Set is one of the most well-known and significant myths in Egyptian mythology. It is a tale of power, jealousy, betrayal, and ultimately, the triumph of good over evil. This myth provides insight into the ancient Egyptian beliefs about the afterlife, the struggle between order and chaos, and the importance of justice. The story begins with the reign of the god Geb and the goddess Nut, who were the parents of Osiris, Set, Isis, and Nephthys. Osiris, the eldest son, was chosen to rule over Egypt, and he became a wise and beloved king. He brought prosperity and civilization to the land, teaching the people agriculture, law, and religion. However, Set, the younger brother of Osiris, grew jealous of his brother's success and popularity. Set was a god associated with chaos, violence, and the desert, and he desired power for himself. In his envy, Set plotted against Osiris, seeking to overthrow him and take his place as ruler of Egypt. Set devised a cunning plan to eliminate Osiris. He hosted a grand feast and invited Osiris to attend. At the feast, Set presented a beautifully crafted chest and announced that whoever could fit perfectly inside it would be the rightful owner. Unbeknownst to Osiris, the chest was custom-made to his measurements. As Osiris lay down inside the chest, Set and his followers quickly sealed it shut and threw it into the Nile River. The chest was carried away by the current, and Osiris drowned. Set believed that with Osiris out of the way, he would be able to seize the throne and rule Egypt unchallenged. Meanwhile, Isis, the wife and sister of Osiris, was devastated by the loss of her husband. She embarked on a journey to find his body and give him a proper burial. After much searching, she discovered that the chest had washed ashore in the land of Byblos, where it had become lodged in the branches of a tamarisk tree. Isis, with the help of her sister Nephthys, retrieved the chest and brought it back to Egypt. She hid it in a secret location and began the process of mummifying Osiris's body. Isis used her magical powers to restore Osiris to life temporarily, allowing her to conceive a son with him, who would later become the god Horus. Set, unaware of Isis's actions, continued to rule over Egypt, believing that he had successfully eliminated his brother. However, Horus grew up and sought revenge for his father's death. He challenged Set to a series of battles, each representing different aspects of Egyptian life and kingship. The battles between Horus and Set were fierce and intense, with both gods displaying their powers and abilities. The outcome of these battles varied in different versions of the myth, but ultimately, Horus emerged victorious, proving himself to be the rightful heir to the throne. After his defeat, Set was banished to the desert, where he became associated with chaos and disorder. Horus, on the other hand, became the new ruler of Egypt, restoring order and justice to the land. Osiris, although deceased, became the god of the afterlife and the judge of the dead, ensuring that the souls of the righteous would be rewarded and the wicked punished. The story of Osiris and Set serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive nature of jealousy and the importance of justice and righteousness. It also highlights the belief in the cyclical nature of life and death, with Osiris representing the eternal cycle of death and rebirth. This myth had a profound influence on ancient Egyptian culture and religious practices. It was often reenacted in rituals and ceremonies, symbolizing the eternal struggle between good and evil. The story of Osiris and Set also played a significant role in the development of the concept of the afterlife and the belief in judgment and the preservation of the soul. Overall, the story of Osiris and Set is a captivating and enduring myth that continues to fascinate and inspire people to this day. It provides a glimpse into the complex and rich mythology of ancient Egypt and offers valuable insights into their beliefs, values, and understanding of the world. The Adventures of Ra and the Sunboat. The mythology of ancient Egypt is filled with captivating stories and legends that have been passed down through generations. One of the most prominent and fascinating tales is that of Ra and the Sunboat. Ra, also known as Re, was the powerful sun god and the creator of all life. He was believed to travel across the sky during the day, bringing light and warmth to the world. However, his journey was not without its challenges and adventures. The daily journey of Ra. According to Egyptian mythology, Ra embarked on a daily journey across the sky in his sunboat. Each morning he would rise from the eastern horizon, sailing his boat called the Manjet, or morning boat. As he sailed across the sky, he would bring light and life to the world. The people of ancient Egypt believed that Ra's journey was essential for the continuation of life on Earth. The battle with Apophis. One of the most significant challenges Ra faced during his journey was the battle with Apophis, the serpent of chaos. Apophis was a powerful and malevolent creature who sought to devour Ra and plunge the world into darkness. Every night, as Ra sailed through the underworld, Apophis would lie in wait, ready to attack. To protect himself and ensure the safety of the world, Ra relied on the help of other gods and goddesses. Set, the god of chaos, would stand at the front of the boat and fend off Apophis with his spear. Other gods, such as Isis and Bastet, would also join the battle, using their magic and strength to repel the serpent. The battle between Ra and Apophis was not only a physical struggle, but also a symbolic representation of the eternal conflict between order and chaos. The Egyptians believed that if Apophis were to succeed in devouring Ra, the world would be plunged into darkness and chaos. The night journey and the underworld. As the sun set and Ra's journey through the sky came to an end, he would enter the underworld, known as the Duat. The Duat was a mysterious and treacherous realm filled with dangerous creatures and obstacles. Ra's boat would navigate through the dark waters, guided by the light of the moon and the stars. During his journey through the underworld, Ra would encounter various challenges and trials. He would face monstrous creatures, such as the serpent Apep, who sought to disrupt his journey and extinguish his light. Ra would use his divine powers and the assistance of other gods to overcome these obstacles and continue his journey. The renewal of Ra. At the end of each night, Ra would emerge victorious from the underworld, defeating Apophis and other forces of chaos. As he rose from the western horizon, he would transform into his morning form, rejuvenated and ready to bring light and life to the world once again. The journey of Ra and the sunboat symbolized the eternal cycle of life, death, and rebirth. It represented the triumph of order over chaos and the continuous renewal of the world. The Egyptians believed that Ra's daily journey was crucial for the well-being and prosperity of their civilization. The symbolism and significance. The story of Ra and the sunboat held deep symbolism and significance in ancient Egyptian culture. It represented the power of the sun and its life-giving properties. Ra was not only a god but also a symbol of kingship and divine authority. The journey of the sunboat reflected the journey of the pharaoh, who was believed to be the earthly embodiment of Ra. Furthermore, the story of Ra's battle with Apophis conveyed the importance of maintaining order and harmony in the world. It emphasized the constant struggle between good and evil and the need for humans to align themselves with the forces of order. The adventures of Ra and the sunboat continue to captivate and inspire people to this day. The story serves as a reminder of the enduring power of mythology and its ability to convey profound truths about the human experience. Through these ancient tales, we gain insight into the beliefs, values, and aspirations of the ancient Egyptians, and we continue to find meaning and inspiration in their rich mythological heritage. The tale of Isis and the Seven Scorpions. The ancient Egyptian myth of Isis and the Seven Scorpions is a captivating story that showcases the power of love, compassion, and the lengths a mother would go to protect her child. This tale not only highlights the strength and determination of the goddess Isis, but also sheds light on the significance of scorpions in Egyptian mythology. The setting. The story takes place during the reign of the god Ra, the sun god and ruler of the gods. Ra was known for his wisdom and power, but he was also known to be a strict and demanding deity. His rule over the world was absolute, and he expected unwavering loyalty from all creatures. The birth of Horus Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood, was married to Osiris, the god of the underworld. Together they had a son named Horus, who was destined to become the god of kingship and the sky. However, their happiness was short-lived when Osiris was murdered by his jealous brother Set. Devastated by the loss of her husband, Isis embarked on a journey to bring him back to life. With her magical powers, she was able to resurrect Osiris temporarily and conceive a child with him. She then went into hiding, fearing that Set would harm her unborn child. The Seven Scorpions. During her time in hiding, Isis sought refuge in the swamps of the Nile Delta. It was here that she encountered a group of 7 scorpions who were known for their venomous stings. Despite their fearsome reputation, Isis saw the potential for their assistance in protecting her and her unborn child. Moved by her plight, the scorpions agreed to help Isis. They pledged their loyalty and vowed to protect her from any harm that may come her way. In return, Isis promised to protect them from any danger they might encounter. The encounter with the noble woman. As Isis continued her journey, she came across a noblewoman who was in desperate need of help. The noblewoman was suffering from a deadly scorpion sting and was on the verge of death. Without hesitation, Isis called upon her scorpion companions to aid the noblewoman. The scorpions used their venom to heal the noblewoman, counteracting the effects of the deadly sting. The noblewoman was grateful for their assistance and promised to repay their kindness in any way she could. The betrayal. Word of Isis and her scorpion companions reached the ears of Set, who was still seeking to harm Isis and her unborn child. Set devised a plan to capture and kill Isis, using the noblewoman as bait. He promised the noblewoman great riches and power if she would betray Isis. Unaware of the noblewoman's true intentions, Isis and her scorpion companions arrived at the noblewoman's home. As they entered, the noblewoman revealed her true allegiance and trapped Isis and the scorpions inside. The power of Isis. Despite being trapped, Isis did not lose hope. She called upon her magical abilities and transformed herself into a giant serpent, breaking free from the noblewoman's trap. With her newfound power, she defeated Set's minions and rescued her scorpion companions. Together, Isis and the scorpions confronted Set, who was taken aback by Isis's strength and determination. Realizing that he was no match for her, Set fled, leaving Isis and her scorpions victorious. The reward. As a reward for their loyalty and bravery, Isis transformed the scorpions into stars in the night sky, immortalizing their sacrifice and ensuring that they would be remembered for eternity. These stars became known as the constellation Scorpius a reminder of the bond between Isis and her scorpion companions. The symbolism. The tale of Isis and the 7 scorpions holds deep symbolism within Egyptian mythology. The scorpions represent the dangerous and unpredictable aspects of nature, while Isis embodies the power of love, compassion, and maternal instinct. This story emphasizes the importance of loyalty, sacrifice, and the lengths a mother would go to protect her child. The transformation of the scorpions into stars also symbolizes the eternal nature of the bond between Isis and her companions. It serves as a reminder that acts of kindness and loyalty are rewarded and immortalized. The tale of Isis and the 7 scorpions is just one example of the rich and complex mythology of ancient Egypt. It showcases the depth of Egyptian beliefs and the enduring power of their stories. The Legend of the Eye of Horus. The legend of the Eye of Horus is one of the most captivating stories in Egyptian mythology. It tells the tale of the god Horus and his quest to avenge his father's death and restore order to the world. This ancient legend not only provides insight into the beliefs and values of the ancient Egyptians, but also showcases the power and significance of the Eye of Horus. According to the legend, Horus was the son of Osiris, the god of the underworld, and Isis, the goddess of magic and motherhood. Osiris was the rightful ruler of Egypt, but his jealous brother Set murdered him out of envy and took his place on the throne. Horus, determined to avenge his father's death and reclaim his rightful inheritance, embarked on a journey that would test his strength, courage, and cunning. The Eye of Horus played a crucial role in Horus's quest. It was a symbol of protection, power, and divine authority. The Eye of Horus was believed to possess magical properties and was often depicted as a powerful amulet or talisman. It was said to have the ability to ward off evil, heal the sick, and bring good fortune to its wearer. In the legend, Horus lost his left eye during a fierce battle with Set. The eye was torn out and shattered into 6 pieces. However, with the help of his mother Isis, Horus was able to restore the eye and regain its power. Each piece of the eye represented a different aspect of Horus's power and was associated with a specific sense. The first piece of the eye represented the sense of sight, the second piece represented the sense of hearing, the third piece represented the sense of smell, the fourth piece represented the sense of taste, the fifth piece represented the sense of touch, and the sixth piece represented the sense of thought or intuition. Together, these pieces formed the complete Eye of Horus, symbolizing the restoration of balance and harmony. Horus embarked on a perilous journey to retrieve the missing pieces of his eye. He traveled through treacherous deserts, navigated treacherous rivers, and faced numerous challenges and obstacles along the way. With the guidance of his mother Isis and the support of other gods and goddesses, Horus was able to overcome these challenges and gradually restore his eye to its full power. As Horus regained each piece of his eye, he grew stronger and more determined to defeat Set. Finally, with the Eye of Horus fully restored, Horus confronted Set in a fierce battle. After a long and grueling fight, Horus emerged victorious, avenging his father's death and reclaiming his rightful place as the ruler of Egypt. The legend of the Eye of Horus is not only a tale of triumph and justice, but also a reflection of the ancient Egyptians' belief in the power of divine intervention and the importance of maintaining balance and order in the world. It highlights the significance of the Eye of Horus as a symbol of protection, healing, and divine authority. Even today, the Eye of Horus remains a powerful symbol in Egyptian culture and is often used as a protective amulet or talisman. It is believed to bring good luck, ward off evil, and provide spiritual guidance. The legend of the Eye of Horus continues to captivate and inspire people around the world, reminding us of the enduring power and significance of ancient Egyptian mythology, religious practices, and temples. Religion played a central role in the lives of ancient Egyptians, and their mythology was deeply intertwined with their religious practices. Temples were the focal point of religious life, serving as places of worship, ritual, and community gathering. These magnificent structures were dedicated to various gods and goddesses, and they played a crucial role in maintaining the cosmic order and ensuring the well-being of the kingdom. Temples in ancient Egypt served as the earthly abodes of the gods and goddesses. They were believed to be the meeting point between the divine and mortal realms, where humans could communicate with the deities and seek their blessings. The primary purpose of temples was to provide a sacred space for religious rituals, offerings, and ceremonies. The temples were also seen as the centers of economic and political power. They were not only places of worship, but also served as administrative and economic hubs. The priests who managed the temples held significant influence in society, as they were believed to be the intermediaries between the gods and the people. They played a crucial role in maintaining the religious and social order of ancient Egypt. Egyptian temples were grand architectural marvels designed to awe and inspire worshippers. They were constructed using durable materials such as limestone and granite, ensuring their longevity. The temples were often adorned with intricate carvings, colorful murals, and hieroglyphic inscriptions that depicted religious scenes and mythological stories. The layout of the temples followed a specific plan, with various sections and chambers serving different purposes. The most important part of the temple was the sanctuary, also known as the innermost sanctuary or the Holy of Holies. This sacred chamber housed the cult statue of the deity to whom the temple was dedicated. Only the high priest had access to this innermost sanctuary, where they would perform rituals and offer prayers on behalf of the people. Surrounding the sanctuary were other chambers and courtyards, each with its own significance. These included the offering halls, where priests would present offerings to the gods, and the hypostyle halls, characterized by rows of massive columns that supported the temple's roof. The outermost areas of the temple were often open courtyards where worshippers could gather and participate in religious ceremonies. Religious rituals were an integral part of temple worship in ancient Egypt. These rituals were performed by the priests, who meticulously followed a set of prescribed procedures to ensure the proper communication with the gods. The rituals were believed to maintain the cosmic order and ensure the prosperity and well-being of the kingdom. Offerings played a significant role in these rituals. Egyptians believed that the gods required sustenance and nourishment, just like humans. Therefore, they would present offerings of food, drink, and other valuable items to the gods. These offerings were believed to be a way of showing gratitude and seeking the favor of the deities. The rituals and offerings varied depending on the specific deity and the purpose of the ceremony. Some rituals involved purification rites, where the priests would cleanse themselves before entering the sacred spaces. Other rituals included the recitation of prayers, the burning of incense, and the pouring of libations. Animal sacrifices were also common, particularly during important festivals and ceremonies. Festivals and processions were an essential part of religious life in ancient Egypt. These events provided an opportunity for the community to come together and celebrate the gods and goddesses. They were often held in honor of specific deities and marked important religious and agricultural milestones. During festivals, the cult statues of the gods would be taken out of the temples and paraded through the streets. The statues would be placed on portable shrines called barks and carried by priests and worshippers. The processions would be accompanied by music, dancing, and chanting, creating a festive and joyous atmosphere. Festivals and processions were not only religious events but also had social and political significance. They served as a means of reinforcing the authority of the pharaoh and the priesthood, as well as fostering a sense of unity and identity among the people. In addition to temple rituals and festivals, personal worship and pilgrimage were also common practices in ancient Egypt. Individuals would make pilgrimages to temples dedicated to specific deities to seek their blessings or to fulfill a vow. Pilgrims would often bring offerings and perform rituals at the temple, hoping for divine intervention in their lives. Personal worship also took place outside the temple setting. Egyptians believed that the gods and goddesses could be worshipped in any location, as long as the proper rituals and offerings were performed. Therefore, individuals would set up small shrines in their homes or private spaces where they could offer prayers and make offerings to their chosen deities. Religious practices and temple worship were deeply ingrained in the daily lives of ancient Egyptians. The temples served as the physical manifestations of their religious beliefs and provided a space for the community to come together in devotion and celebration. The rituals, offerings, and festivals were all essential components of their religious practices, ensuring the harmony and prosperity of both the mortal and divine realms. Art and architecture. Art and architecture played a significant role in ancient Egypt, and their influence can be seen in various aspects of Egyptian mythology. The Egyptians were known for their intricate and elaborate artistic style, which was deeply intertwined with their religious beliefs and mythological stories. From the grand temples dedicated to the gods to the intricate tomb paintings, art and architecture were used to honor the gods, depict mythological tales, and create a connection between the mortal world and the divine. One of the most prominent examples of the influence of Egyptian mythology on art and architecture is the construction of temples. Temples were considered sacred spaces where the gods resided, and they were built to honor and worship specific deities. These temples were not only places of religious significance, but also architectural marvels. The design and layout of Egyptian temples were carefully planned and executed to reflect the mythological beliefs of the ancient Egyptians. The temples were often built on a grand scale, with massive stone walls, towering columns, and intricate carvings. The architecture of the temples was meant to evoke a sense of awe and reverence, emphasizing the power and grandeur of the gods. The walls of the temples were adorned with detailed reliefs and paintings that depicted mythological scenes and stories. These artistic representations served as a visual narrative of the gods' exploits and their interactions with humans. The temple walls acted as a medium through which the mythological tales were brought to life, allowing worshippers to connect with the gods and understand their significance in Egyptian society. Symbolism played a crucial role in Egyptian art, and it was deeply rooted in their mythological beliefs. The ancient Egyptians used a wide range of symbols and motifs to convey specific meanings and concepts related to their mythology. These symbols were often used in conjunction with mythological scenes to enhance their significance and convey a deeper understanding of the stories being depicted. One of the most common symbols used in Egyptian art was the use of animal imagery. Animals were believed to possess divine qualities and were associated with specific gods and goddesses. For example, the falcon was closely associated with the god Horus, while the lion represented the goddess Sekhmet. These animal symbols were used to represent the gods and their attributes, allowing worshippers to easily identify and connect with them. Another significant symbol in Egyptian art was the use of hieroglyphs. Hieroglyphs were a system of writing that used pictorial symbols to represent words and sounds. These hieroglyphic inscriptions were often found in temples and tombs, and they were used to convey mythological stories and religious texts. The use of hieroglyphs in art and architecture allowed the ancient Egyptians to preserve their mythological beliefs and pass them down through generations. The art and architecture of ancient Egypt were not limited to temples and religious structures. Tombs and funerary art also played a significant role in depicting mythological beliefs and ensuring a successful journey to the afterlife. The tombs of pharaohs and nobles were elaborate structures filled with intricate paintings and carvings that depicted scenes from mythological stories. The walls of the tombs were adorned with detailed paintings that depicted the deceased's journey through the afterlife and their encounters with various gods and goddesses. These scenes often included depictions of the gods of the underworld, such as Osiris and Anubis, who played crucial roles in guiding the deceased to the afterlife. The paintings served as a guide for the deceased, ensuring that they were prepared for the challenges they would face in the afterlife. In addition to paintings, funerary art also included the creation of intricate burial masks and sarcophagi. These objects were often adorned with mythological symbols and scenes, further emphasizing the connection between the deceased and the gods. The use of such art in tombs was believed to provide protection and ensure a successful journey to the afterlife. The chapter closes, but the legend never ends. Part 4 of Gods and Pharaohs may be complete, yet the journey is far from over. What secrets will the sands of Egypt reveal next? Stay tuned every Monday and Thursday for more spellbinding stories. Subscribe to Spellbound Stories and be part of the legacy that transcends the ages. Until we meet again, may the power of the ancients guide you. Stay curious, stay spellbound.